Here we are. Hey everybody, this is John Corey. We're back for the John and Jani show. This is episode 10. I'm your host, John Corey. With me is Jani Moon from New York City.
Actually, no, I'm in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I'm
Look at that.
family.
Look at that beautiful background she's got there.
This is our background.
It's our first show in a while, but we've got our own music. Can you imagine? This is our first time using copyrighted music. So, welcome back, everybody. We got Sheldon Laube on the show today. He is the CEO of, I think I was just discussing over dinner, this is probably my favorite app, which is called ArtKick. Why is it my favorite app? Because Runkeeper makes me jog.
Because the CEO is on our show today?
No, but seriously, I love this app. It's like, so the quick story behind this was, I took my kids on a cultural afternoon to Amsterdam, which doesn't happen much, ever. We went to the Rijksmuseum, and I get an hour and a half in there before the kids start saying we're bored and we want to go home, of course. But it was just so amazing, all the stuff there, all the works of art. And I thought, I want all this stuff. Why would I put posters or whatever? I want all this art on my walls at home. And then you put two and two together. There's like all these screens now cost like nothing. And you could just like hang up 5 of them around your house and then have like a little thing that just puts works of art on there. Why would you do anything else?
Right. And so for our listeners to know, it's like TV screens that instead of showing a blank black screen shows these pictures of art. And we're going to get the CEO, Sheldon, to tell us more about it. Because it's pretty badass.
It's badass. And I found it because I wanted to do it.
Because you're so cultured. You wanted art.
I wanted art. I wanted to start a company to do this. I thought, oh, let me start this. Just like I just said about the restaurant Shellfish Bastard I wanted to start, which I'm not going to start. And I'm not going to start this either. Jani is frozen. But
I'm back.
I wanted to start this company. Then I looked around and I found somebody, okay, they're doing it already. And I was like, fine. So here's Sheldon. Sheldon, we're bringing you on. You have to unmute your microphone. I get a little nervous twitch, and I itch my head.
Good morning.
Hi, Sheldon.
Depending on where you are in the world.
Sheldon is coming out from San Francisco. Thanks for being with us in the heart of the beast, the lion's den in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. So welcome, Sheldon. How did you get started on all this? Is the first question.
Well, it's actually a funny story. This is my 5th startup. I've been around a long time, done a lot of different companies. But I've always loved art. I grew up in New York City, and as a little kid, I grew up in the city, and
you have to come visit us.
Yes, I will. And back when I grew up, which was back in the 1950s, it was still safe for kids to just go on their own on the subway. And so friends of mine and I would take the subway, and we'd go down to the Metropolitan or the Museum of Natural History, and it would be like a playground. And we'd just run around the museum, and we'd have little games we'd play. Like
it was free, wasn't it?
What?
Was it free back then?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Just walked in. And so we'd play a game like who could go as quickly from the Cellini Cup to the armor room as fast as possible. And, it was just a fun place because it was filled with really cool things to look at. And, as I got older, I realized that for every kid who was lucky like me, there are probably a million more who would never even go to a museum and never be experienced and experience art. And so through my whole life, I've been a technology guy, and all my companies around technology, and I've kind of been thinking about, how does technology and art come together, and never had the right idea. So anyway, my wife is a fine art photographer, and she sells photography and does it and sells it locally in art fairs. And we went to a lecture down at one of the museums here in San Francisco. It was a panel discussion on selling photography and collecting photography. And up on the panel was somebody from Christie's and a curator and an art gallery owner. And my wife went because she wanted to get ideas about how a new photographer could get sort of recognized. And we listened to all of this. And finally, my wife raises her hand at the question and answer and says, how does a new artist get recognized? And they basically said, you have no chance whatsoever. Said, this is the gallery owner. He said, if we don't know you, we just throw the stuff away. He says, I get stuff all the time.
Even from good artists, there's no chance.
There's no chance. Yeah, he says, I get stuff sent to me all the time. I just, throw it in the trash can. Don't even look at it. which was sort of a downer.
I was honest.
So I sort of raised my hand, and I asked a silly question, like, so I said, "What does the internet have to do with any of this?" Gallery owner says, "Oh, it really has no effect. Nobody's going to buy really good photography without being there." And I realized at that moment, this was certainly an idiot speaking. Because,
it shows how detached he is, right?
Yeah, how detached he is. Millions of dollars is transacted on the internet and fine art all the time. But I had at that moment this sort of insight. And that is, I have a niece and nephew who live here, and they're in their 30s, and they live here in Silicon Valley. They're both in high tech. And what I thought at that moment was, they're not going to buy art the same way. Neither of them really sort of know what a CD is. I mean, they know, but they would never think of buying one. When they want a piece of music, they get it at iTunes, or they stream it from Spotify or Pandora. And I said, they're going to want to get art that way.
The same way, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was obvious to me. And then, it's like we already have big screens are in everybody's house. These big flat panels already exist.
So you have the idea to do this, and it sounds like a no-brainer in a way, and it sounds like something that people should have done, because when I thought of it too, I thought, this is a gimme, right?
I said, we already got the display devices. They're sitting there unused. We should be streaming art. That's the way people will experience it in the future. And of course, it's obvious. It's been in science fiction for years, right?
Right.
That you'll have flat panels.
Everything in science fiction is true.
Yeah, it's only a matter of how long, when, not if. And it's suddenly I had this blazing insight that the time was now that we could do it.
And when was this? When did you have this idea again? You said
18 months ago.
18 months ago, that's it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. 18 months ago. It was like in March of 2012, I guess.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
The reason was, of why now, even though it's been in science fiction, were a couple of factors came together to make all of this work. The first, of course, everybody has a display device. It's already in your house.
Right.
You don't have to get into something new. Everybody remember, there are more TVs in the world than almost anything else, right? Almost everybody, even in the middle of nowhere.
In Holland, yeah.
Right. The second, of course, is that internet access is becoming ubiquitous.
Right.
So you have the mechanism to get bits down into the house, right? That was sort of the second factor. And the third, and perhaps most important factor, was a change in the view of museums all over the world about art. Sort of before you go back 5 years, and every museum sort of hoarded their art.
Right.
If you wanted to see it, you should show up at the museum.
Right.
And that's the way you should experience it.
And this came as to me, in my eyes, the biggest challenge was, okay, there's an idea. You can have, I could download some art because the Rijksmuseum let us download art. They had on their website you could download art, and I thought, okay, great, I can download a few pictures and then just store them on my phone and then send them on my phone to my TV. But that's the big challenge. Is you want more than just the 10 works of art that they're offering. So how do you get them to? Well,
first of all, the big change was that museums started to realize their job in the world was to actually bring art to people, not bring people to art. And all of a sudden, a landslide started to happen, led, as a matter of fact, by the Rijksmuseum. The Rijksmuseum, about a year and a half ago, or a year ago, announced that they're going to make virtually all of their masterworks available for download. Not just 20 or 30, but 100,000.
I haven't gotten them all, by the way. I've tried to look for all of them, but I only got some.
What's happened is museums have followed, and they said, hey, our job is to get art into the world, and made art more accessible in a digital form. Now, of course, just so we can get through it, there are copyright issues involved with art like any media. And the law, which I knew nothing about, but now know a lot about, that has to do with this, is that all art falls in the public domain between 70 and 100 years past the death of an artist.
Right.
So that means, Monets and Rembrandts and all of those are all in the public domain.
Wow,
right.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Did I. Okay? And so therefore, literally hundreds of thousands of images of the great masterworks of the world are available in the public domain.
Now, what about a new artist? Do you only have like famous artists, or what about, can you promote new artists?
We can promote new artists, and that's no problem, because the issue is who owns the rights to the art, right? So if you're an emerging artist, one of the things you can do on ArtKick is you can basically connect up your own art. All you have to do is put it up on Facebook or Twitter or Dropbox, and then you can put it up on ArtKick, and then you can share it with your friends and promote it, and they can now experience it on their TVs, if you will.
Let me take 2 seconds to show how this works. You wanted me to show my TV or my computer screen as well. Let me see. This is going to be a bit awkward. I'm going to show my screen real quick, but then I'm going to show my phone. So here's my screen. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Ooh. Quick, who knows which work of art this is?
Very cool.
Who is this? Does anybody know?
Is that a Canaletto?
I have no idea. Whatever you said would have been okay. The point is, there it is on my computer screen. They have a website, but I also have, for me, which is I'm showing everybody this, really. Let me see if this is gonna work out over here. So here's my phone. You just have an ArtKick app, and I can just click on the different things. Does this show up at all, or is it just a big glare?
No.
It's pretty blurry, but just keep going. We'll imagine it.
Imagine there's a beautiful work of art on my phone here, and I can just click on it, and it just goes on my TV. So I just bought Google Chromecast now, right? So I plug it in the side of my TV. I got a decent-sized TV, not as American decent-sized, but not bad. And I can just put this up on my TV and just like stare at it all day. And then if I'm sick of it, I just go to a new one, and I have a new picture. And if I don't like that one, I can do whatever. I can put the Mona Lisa up there. And this is how this thing works, and it's freaking fantastic, right?
I love it. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for 1 minute.
Sure.
Because
Jani playing devil's advocate. We're all into this.
Well, because I'm I love sci-fi. I'm totally sci-fi junkie. I love the fact that you have all this art and you can have it so accessible. But there is something that I miss around the texture, right? Like feeling.
Who cares about texture?
Oh, Jani, no, I'm with you 100%, right? There's nothing like experiencing it for real, right?
Right.
But the simple fact is, for every person who gets to experience it for real, there are 1 million, 10 million, 100 million others who never will have that opportunity.
They will never see it.
They'll never see it.
It's true. I saw the Mona Lisa.
Right.
I don't remember anything about texture.
And that is actually, that's a great point. You're right.
That's the point. This is not about replacing the experience of art. It's about making it available to millions. Think of it this way. It's like music. No one would make the argument that listening to music on an iPod over $10 earbuds is the same as going to a concert.
Right.
But yet, millions of people do it every day because it gives them pleasure.
Right.
It's a different experience, but it's still wonderful. And that's what ArtKick is about. It's not the same experience as a museum. It's a different one. But it's a wonderful one.
But let's face it, it is a great replacement for crap on your wall. You know what I mean? Because half the time you don't have a Monet on your wall because A, you can't afford it. If you want another one, what are you going to do? But that's what you want. I got this great picture.
I like that picture. That's a good one.
And that's a really beautiful piece of art.
That was pretty spontaneous. No, that was... Who drew that?
Well done, John.
I don't even know who drew it. I think it was Julian. Could have been Finn. But the point is, I like this, but the other stuff I want on my wall, I want beautiful works of art on my wall. And you can buy posters, but then maybe you're going to be bored with them anyway, so you might as well just go for something more flexible, right?
Exactly.
And Sheldon, John and I were talking about this earlier because John was so impressed about you doing this, later in life, that this is something that you've already, this is your 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you have the,
Yeah, how do you do this?
How do you have the energy? How do you have
And amongst all these 20-year-olds, right? Is that like the whole thing in
Well, in Silicon Valley, yeah. By the time you're 30, you're already too old.
Is that a cliche? Is that true?
No, it's not. It's actually absolutely true.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, you'll see venture capitalists talk all the time about we won't invest in anybody who's over 35.
So a lot of
because
age
it's too-
discrimination, huh?
Because
Oh,
they're too difficult. Because if you're 20, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you'll take a bad deal or what?
Well, it's actually the other way. I mean, when you're 20, you don't know what can't be done, and therefore you go and do it. Okay? I mean, that's the great thing about youth and inexperience is you don't know what's impossible, and therefore you go do it anyway.
But props to you, because this sounds pretty impossible too. I mean, you're going to have all the scanned works of art in your app.
Well, absolutely, and it's not just works of art; it's also photography. I mean, collectively, we have millions of images available.
Where did you get all these from?
Well, both from that's part of what we do is curate all of this. But back to your story about being sort of, more experienced in starting a company. The cool part about sort of being older and starting a company, and you've done it a bunch of times, is you have a whole bunch of friends who you've worked with before.
Yeah.
Right.
And therefore you can go call on them and say, hey, you want to do this again? And so a lot of the people, there are about 10 people in ArtKick right now, and 8 of them I've worked with before in one way or another.
Yeah.
They've been in the companies I've been in, and, we've worked together. And that's sort of the great pleasure of running a company like this, is the opportunity to just continue to work with people you really like. One of the great phrases you'll hear from a lot of people in Silicon Valley is, no bozos rule. And that is, you're trying to create a company that doesn't have any bozos in it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things about a small startup, is you actually can get to be really selective and really picky.
And Sheldon, too, I just want to comment. Like, you may be older, but your energy is that of, like, a 16-year-old. I'm sure you've heard this before. You have such a magical, playful, young, like what's the secret?
Be passionate about it. I love this idea. I'm an entrepreneur. I mean, there are a lot of great entrepreneurs who know how to take something and make it into a big company. I'm sort of an original idea person, and what I'm passionate about is sort of the new idea and making the new thing. I'm not a great operating guy. And so because this is my idea, I'm really passionate about it. And we can change the way people experience art. We can bring this beauty into the homes of millions of people who could have never had it before. That's a big deal. That's something
exciting.
to be excited about.
Absolutely.
We can just change the whole experience. And the things that you can do because you live in New York, or you live in Amsterdam, or you're interested, we can bring everywhere. And as you said, you took your kids to a museum, and after an hour, they said, that's enough, Dad, right?
But they
Fair
liked
enough,
it. It was
right?
enough.
But what you can now do is you can sort of put that museum in your home. And the whole idea of art is you experience it sort of when you walk by. It's not to drag them and force art into them. Our vision is you're going to sort of go, and so, just say, I'm going to put up some pictures from the Rijksmuseum and change them every hour.
Yeah.
And hopefully your kid will come by one day and say, hey, Dad, that's a cool picture.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You just bring it into people's lives, because art is one of the oldest human experiences, right?
Right.
Cave paintings is where it all started. So if you go back through human history, what we did in the beginning, besides after we ate and got shelter, is we strangely enough made music and made art.
Yeah.
Right? They're amongst the oldest things people did in civilization. And what's interesting about art is every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth decorates the spaces they inhabit. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what culture you're in. Every person, I've never met either of you, I guarantee you, behind you in your house are pictures on the wall. You just showed one.
That one was kind of forced upon me, but
That's okay. That's okay. Because everyone does it. It's a core human desire. And the whole point of it is what you want to look at changes over time. Maybe when you're a kid, if you're a teenage girl, maybe you want to see pictures of Taylor Swift. If you're a teenage boy, maybe you want to see
pictures of Taylor Swift.
You want to see pictures of Taylor Swift. Maybe you want to see pictures of Ferraris. Maybe you want to see, Victoria's Secret from last week. Maybe you want to see
fairies.
What do you want?
Fairies.
Yeah, fairies. But the whole point is, everybody wants to look at something.
And something pretty.
It's something pretty, and ArtKick says something, a really profound thing. It's that what you want to look at can change.
Yes, and it can change with your moods, right?
That's
like
the
if you're feeling sad or melancholy, maybe I want to see something cheerful. Or if I'm wanting, I want to experience all the range of different emotions, I can be inspired and elicit those emotions through picking these pieces of art. How phenomenal is that?
That's the point. You can change it to match your mood. I got to tell you, the Mona Lisa is the most famous picture in the world. You leave it up on, you live with it for a week or two and you've had enough.
You've had enough.
At least for me.
Yeah.
And for your kids, our goal is they can explore. And they can say, what I want to see are pictures of famous soccer players, or I want to see Taylor Swift, or I want to see this.
Yeah.
Great.
You can even put family pictures on there too, right?
And that's the whole point. And you can mix them.
Oh, you can put family pictures on there.
You can upload your own content, sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's wonderful. So Sheldon, what's popular in your home right now?
Oh, for me, actually, I quite honestly, I happen to be a big Taylor Swift fan.
No way, you're lying.
And so I have some pictures of Taylor Swift up.
There you go. That's that 16-year-old boy coming out, right?
And in our living room, we actually have our Christmas. We have a whole series of Christmas photos for the season. And last week we had up beach photos. It was raining and cold here, and so we had a whole bunch. There's a whole view list on beaches and warm places.
Do you have a famous artist that you keep going back to?
Personally, there's an American artist named Alfred Bierstadt. He painted pictures of the American West, which are really cool pictures, who I had never heard of. We have more Bierstadts in ArtKick than exist in any single place anywhere in the world, because it goes across museums. We have images from over 4,000 museums.
I haven't found it that I haven't gone that deep into it. I guess I'm already stuck on that original functionality. But can you share with each other? Can you have friends and stuff and share?
Yeah, you can do all the stuff. If you think of Spotify and what you can do in Spotify with music, we can do with art. Okay. So that means you can create your own playlists, which we call view lists.
Okay.
You can share them with friends, like on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
They can subscribe to your view list. So when you change it, it changes for them. You can import your own images.
So right there, I can already kind of like jump on your little wagon and see this guy.
Here's my favorite stuff, or here's my favorite view list. So all of those social features, you can say I like something, and it automatically puts it in a liked list, so you can quickly go through and see what you like. All that sort of good stuff.
Fantastic.
But, back to your sort of question of starting a company. Silicon Valley is a really interesting place. And of course, it's youth-driven, without question, right? I mean, that's great, and youth is great. People who work for me are youth. That's terrific. But this is not a company of deep technological breakthrough. Okay, some of my others were based on more sort of big jump. This is sort of putting pieces together and assembling them and organizing them and putting the infrastructure in place.
And volume, getting all those things on.
But if you think about it, it's not sort of an intractable problem. In other words, you can get your head about how could they go do that, right? Yeah. It's not that we have to invent some mechanism for it. It's just a matter of hard work. And that's great. And so it wasn't hard to start the company. Luckily, my friends and I are sort of successful enough that we could self-fund it for the first year, and then we raised a small amount of money from friends and family. Once again, one of the nice things about being experienced or older is you actually know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And as they're older, they
hopefully have more money.
That's the point, right? That's exactly right. So if you're 20 and you're trying to raise $500,000 from your friends, right? That's not really very easy.
Yeah.
When you're my age, that's not, that's okay. You can go do that.
Right.
And how is the company doing?
We're doing great. We have 30,000, 40,000 people who've registered and are using it. people love it all over. I mean, people have really, they're captured by this notion of being able to experience art or pictures. I mean, to us, art is with a small a.
Right.
And so whether art is Taylor Swift or art is, pictures of, Tokyo at night, all of that's good for us.
Yeah.
And the things that are really exciting to me is when someone like you says, I put it on so my kids could see it.
Yeah, and I'm showing it to everybody. Everybody I meet, you got to see this thing.
Yeah, or I'm having a party, and so we put it up so I can look more erudite, right? I get rid of the. and it's much better than a black screen. It's just we don't have a very high bar to do a good thing because what you have is this ugly black screen, and it's sort of like, gee, should we put a pretty picture on it or should we have an ugly black screen?
Right.
So is your next invention going to be building others like 4-paneled screens just in them themselves so that you can put all these different pieces of art?
Actually, our next invention or our next product is we're actually going to have a dedicated screen so that you can buy, that you can hang on your wall that's pretty small. Actually, I'm going to go and I'll move my camera and you can see one that's sitting here. Let me just go make a quick change to something. So we'll make it.
You're seeing it first.
Yeah. So it's sort of an art screen, and therefore you can go buy it and dedicate it to it, and it's cheap enough, if you will.
Because that's what I was thinking too. I think they're pretty cheap. A lot of these screens are like
it'll be under $300, right?
Right, $300, and you can put 3 of them up on your wall. You've got $1,000. You got all these great works of art then, whenever you want them.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, and you can go put 3 or 4 of them up there. That inexpensive, right? That's sort of the fun of it.
Let's look at the beautiful Jani while we're waiting for. I love that the color of those walls.
Right. Yeah, so we can go and go play around and do some fun things like that, right? So that way people can go and have some fun and have this everywhere. Yeah, let me just here. I'm going to just do something on my computer for a second.
I guess I'm going to have to get a TV then.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you don't have a TV, right, Jani?
You don't need a TV. Right?
Yes.
Jani,
I, as a media, do not have a TV. You
Well,
don't need a
Jani's
TV
a hippie.
anymore.
You don't need a TV. We have a
Screensaver's
screensaver
going on.
version. We have a screensaver version. Okay?
Okay.
And that means you can use this as your screensaver.
That's what I'm going to do. I love that.
So you can go use this as your screensaver, so you don't need a TV. Our goal is to put it on every screen that exists.
Sheldon, you have an answer for everything.
Well, I don't know if we have an answer for everything, but we've given
that comes with age. There you go.
We're trying to do something fun. The other thing for me that was really fun about this is we tried to use a lean startup mentality, and that says you want to do this as cheap as possible. The last startup I founded, which was called Centerbeam, which did outsourced IT for small businesses, we raised $170 million in 1999.
Wow.
So that was a big capital-intense business. This time, the big change of this time of the year, this time in the world, is you want to raise it, you want to use as little money as possible. And so that meant that I got back into doing a lot of the programming myself. So we basically have a developer who joined us. He graduated from Stanford, and he's a young guy. He does all of the back end, and I went back into programming. I hadn't done detailed programming for probably 25 years.
Jeez.
And I programmed all of the front end you see and all of that user interface, for better or worse, is mine.
I'm still curious how you got all these works of art there. Do you just because there must be a repository somewhere where you get them all in?
Well,
you have to catalog them. You have to get
repositories. We get them from artists. We license them from third parties.
What about all the stuff from museums?
We get them from museums. All those sorts of good things, right?
Is that easy? That sounds like a pain in the butt to me.
Well, it's not a pain in the butt.
Hard work.
It's hard work. We have to go and talk to all of these people
And why would they give it to you?
Oh, because they're in the public domain. That's the whole point.
They have to.
Like what we're doing. Well, I don't know if they have to.
They don't have to. That's my point. They don't have to. They can be like, go away.
They have to if they want to go to heaven.
That's exactly right. If they want to go to
If they
heaven,
want to go to art heaven.
if they want to go to art heaven, right? I think that's really wonderful. Um, that's a great thing.
Okay.
Well, you're doing a great thing, Sheldon.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Sheldon, we're really impressed.
So it's really just a wonderful way of bringing art and images to people, and that's really what ArtKick is all about. We're trying to change the whole way people can experience this and bring it into millions of people's homes who've never had it before. So it's a simple idea.
Okay.
What a wonderful, you've just showed, you took a passion, an altruistic passion to give art to the world, and now you've created this incredible app, and we just thank you.
So everybody go to your Google Play Store or the Apple iTunes Store and look up ArtKick, all one word. Check it out. You see the logo down there next to Sheldon's name. Check it out. Download it. It's quick, painless, free, and it's fantastic. Sheldon, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate your time. We know you're a busy guy. You've got to import all those art images. So
thank you so much for being such an inspiration.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right, everybody.
Sheldon.
Bye,
Happy
Sheldon.
holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. We'll talk to you next
New
time.
Year. Bye.
So there we go. Hell of an app, right?
Hell of a guy. My
Impressive.
gosh. You know what? He needs his own, because I'm a media coach, he needs his own show. He is so charismatic. Like, I'm like, it's so much about the man or woman behind the company, right? Like, you're not just selling an idea, you're selling yourself. And he has the heart and the passion and the charisma. Like, I'd buy, yeah.
You know what I'm so pleased about is the fact that he's like, I don't want to say he's taken lemons and made lemonade like it's something horrible to be old, but he just makes it's true for the case that everybody wants you to be young, expects you to be young in Silicon Valley, and he's taking all those things that could be downsides and making them into positives.
There's still hope for you, see, John?
There's still hope for me. No, I'm done with all that startup stuff. I really am. I think. Who knows?
Yeah, famous last words.
Yeah, right. Who knows?
Well, it gives me hope because I'm almost 40 and I still don't know what I want to do.
You're not almost 40.
Yes, I am.
You're like 37?
39.
You're 39?
Yes.
When's your 40th birthday? This summer, right?
Yes. So, it gives me inspiration. Like, this is his fifth business, It just goes to show you, like, you keep on evolving yourself. You have many different purposes in this lifetime, right? It's not just about one thing. It's just, every person on the planet should be asking themselves, how else can I be in service? How else can I contribute? What else do I love?
That's a beautiful thing to say. What do you love?
Yeah, that's me. John,
right.
Thank you. You found ArtKick.
Oh, damn it. Why isn't this on?
This is your baby.
So listen, there it was. I found Eric. Yeah.
Happy holidays, John.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks. Happy holidays. We'll see you on the next show, which is God knows when. But take care. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to get ArtKick. Bye.
Yeah, ArtKick. Download it. Bye-bye.